Okay, everyone, welcome to an episode of On the Wrist from Off the Cuff. To have a little bit of a revisiting here from a wonderful JDM Citizen that is a really solid part of my own personal collection, as well as one that I tend to recommend to folks. But it's been really revitalized and spruced up with a strap that's finally commensurate with the ornate Japanese details and the artisanship that comes with a piece like this, but now in a custom strap that really, again, it matches that level of attention to detail and that just feeling of additional craftsmanship, hand finished at that. So the band is from Roiberd Atelier, and this is a custom Epsom leather watch strap. This is paired to this JDM Citizen model. A little bit about the brand Citizen. They were founded back in 1918 by both Japanese and Swiss investors, and they eventually settled on the name of Citizen Watch Company around 1930, with the Citizen Group owning Miyota, Belova, Arnold & Son, Frederick Constant, Alpina, Campagnola, and a few others to name just kind of what falls under their umbrella. And some of the interesting things that people kind of forget about Citizen, you know, apart from the fact that it was also founded by Swiss investors, is that they still offer fully in-house models, some of which are even fully made in Japan, like this particular unit. Now, they're really best known for their more affordable quartz offerings because, yeah, they actually did help Seiko disrupt the Swiss watch industry during the quartz crisis. In terms of type of watch, this is an everyday dress watch. Some key characteristics and design, which you're looking for something that you can wear every day that still dresses up nicely. Of course, you want to find something that's clean, classic, minimalist in design, as well as sensibly sized. This is the JDM Citizen Collection NB1060-04 Alpha, and it's Citizen's take on a truly Japanese dress watch that can be worn daily, utilizing a clean, minimalist layout, highlighted by finely executed details, showcasing a uniquely textured silver leaf lacquer dial. I originally got this from Sakura Watches, and it was around $700. I don't know what today's going rate is, but these are a steal. Even back at that price, I would say even at double this price, it still makes really a case for itself. I'd even triple. When you really start thinking about the details and the level of execution here, it gets almost silly what they're able to offer for, again, well underneath $1,000. So with that said, let's go ahead and zoom the camera out, get this piece in hand, and take a closer look. Okay, now the full review of this watch was years ago, guys, but it still holds up. Look at that dial. It's going to be very hard to capture here on camera. I'm just going to hope that you guys are able to get an idea of the texture, the vibe. I mean, look at the indices there. Beautiful dial furniture, finished again to a level that you just don't see even in truly luxury wristwatches. It's just impressive flat out. The case finishing also quite nice. Not quite Grand Seiko level in terms of the case, but I'll say the dial for sure is something that is special and worthy of praise on a luxury level. The case is still very nice, definitely a little bit more comparable to something you'd see maybe from King Seiko or their Presage line, but this piece right here, again, for well underneath $1,000, is giving you a whole lot. Now, it's going to have that 38.2 millimeter diameter, 12.2 millimeters thick, while also having a 46.4 millimeter lug-to-lug stainless steel. It does have that Duratec hard coating, which is a surface treatment as well, and it keeps this piece looking quite pristine. It also does have a double domed sapphire, so that means it's curved on the underside as well as on the outer portion, and it has a push-pull crown, unsigned, but you know what, you can't have it all. And then you can see this Miyota 9011 movement, so very cool, looks very familiar for those of you that are familiar with the Miyota 9000. Let me give it a quick little wipe here on the case back because it is fully polished. But for those of you that are familiar with the 9000 series of movements from Miyota, Of course, this is going to be their little bit higher grade, higher spec, because this is put into a Citizen branded piece. Now, this movement has a 4 hertz or 28,800 vibration per hour sweep. It is also packing a 42-hour power reserve, which is not bad, almost 2 days, but more than 40 hours, which is pretty standard, so I'll give it that. And it does still, of course, maintain that 4 hertz sweep or 28,800 vibrations per hour. It's also accurate to -10 to +20 seconds per day, but of course, in actual use, it's going to be much more accurate. Typically. Now, in terms of the dial, guys, pale silver textured dial, applied indices, finely brushed with high polished facets. It does have the date at 3 o'clock, which is nicely framed, as you guys can see. And it does have these fantastic Dauphine hands that are polished and not loomed. But you guys can see there, just beautifully clean. The details, I mean, come on, guys. Compare this to a Tudor, and you will feel a little bit silly when you realize that you're getting this level of dial finish in a watch, again, for well underneath $1,000. So you're also going to get that push-pull crown, which is going to offer, using all the seals and everything, it's going to offer 10 bar or 100 meters of water resistance. The one thing that's been a bit of a drawback is that it does have a 19 millimeter lug width, which means that you are limited, right? But I will say, when you go with something custom, they can absolutely set this up for you. So this strap is gorgeous. It's taupe Epsom leather in terms of that texture, matching, as you guys can see, matching stitch, looks great. Has like a bit of a contrast side there. It's a little bit brighter, which I think does add a bit of pop, especially when you have it at an angle, because you do have that kind of pale silvery warm white color as well on the dial. So I think that is a nice touch, but what do you think? Now, it does taper down to 16 millimeters, and it does have a standard, at least for my wrist, 80 millimeter short side with a 120 millimeter long tail end. And just something to note about these straps is each bespoke strap he makes is cut, stitched, and finished by hand in his small workshop. There are no templates, no shortcuts, just quiet dedication to quality and character. And I mean, look at these details. Quite fantastic. Of course, the buckle, it's just high polished. It's got some fingerprints on it. But yeah, the strap is really the main event here, and it just shows. And I mean, I love the fact that it has that texturing, ties into the texture of the dial, but with this taupe colorway, it is a nice versatile tone. Like, this doesn't have to be worn either, you know, overly dressy or, you know, formal. This can still be worn quite casually, but still dresses up beautifully because of the level of craftsmanship that you see here on this strap. So since this is a strap review, I'm not going to cut away. I shouldn't say strap review, but more of a strap showcase, because we're showcasing the pairing. And as you guys can hear, I am in Oceanside, so from time to time, the Marine Corps helos are going to be flying. So let me know if you recognize those rotors. I was an air defense gunner for a long time, so I have my guesses. But I will say that this is a fine piece, and the level of craftsmanship here, the pliability, you could just tell that the materials were really well curated. They didn't just take bulk orders and figure out what was the cheapest thing. They figured out what were the best, most premium items, and man, it works. Sorry, I just gave the buckle a little wipe there. Check this out. Look at that thinness. Look at those bevels. Look at this dial. Ooh. This is just gorgeous, guys. If I keep my wrist lower, you can see, get a better look. Very nice. Great, I think, presence on the wrist for an everyday piece. Wearing, short sleeves as well. And I think it just suits that, again, that daily appeal, I do like it very, very much. So with that said and out of the way, we'll do, although there's no loom, we can still get this off the wrist, set up for some loom shots, or I should say low light transition anyway. We'll get the low light transition and closing thoughts. Okay, we'll go ahead and hit this light here. We'll turn this down, but we won't get it all the way out because, again, got to get the low light transition. So check that out. You're not always going to be out in the middle of a field enjoying direct sunlight. A lot of times you're going to find yourself coming out of buildings, walking underneath overhangs, or just hanging out underneath the shade of a tree. So it's nice with these colors, textures, and finishes render like in less than optimal lighting. And as you guys can see here, guys, whew, there's plenty of contrast for those of you that were worried. Look at that dial, quite gorgeous. I think it's more gorgeous in good lighting, so you can really dive into the depth of that dial. But I will say, again, still very legible, very clear, and which helps with its everyday wearability proposition. Getting a little parched here. Pardon me. All right, guys. Closing thoughts, this wears perfectly. The smaller silhouette isn't undersized or overly flat. While, you know, that expansive dial does add extra presence that you might expect from, like, let's say a 39 or 40 millimeter watch. So for me, there's a nice balance there. In terms of model variants, there's a beautiful blue dial model that I also own and love. That's also available. And I think they've even done a couple other variations of green dial with like a gold plated case. Sorry, guys. And or you could go over to the NB1060 line where you have the same case paired to a bracelet, which doesn't have the best fitment, but it is a bracelet for those of you that need one. And it has a flat sapphire as well as a more sporty themed dial and hand layout. I will say some might feel that handset is a little undersized for that dial, but this one definitely for me is the more pure and balanced piece. And when we get into comparable models, guys, again, like I mentioned, Seiko Presage as well as King Seiko are easy comparisons, especially with the thinner movement, with the higher beat. And you think about the fact that more premium Presages and King Seikos now offer those options as well, but just at a heck of a premium. But those do also come with really good bracelets, which this does not, unfortunately. So for me, guys, bottom line, this still might be the ultimate sweet spot for an affordable Japanese automatic everyday dress watch. Now paired to an artisanal leather strap commensurate with the level of care and craftsmanship seen on its dial and finely finished case. But let me know what you all think down in the comments below. If you like the video, please do like, and if you're not already, please subscribe for more content just like this. Thanks, guys.